hope this comes to an end soon. On our guest today, we get to share the experiences of a young Cameroonian in the diaspora and, of course, his views on certain issues that concern the global health crisis. Marious Ajongakou is a freelance journalist and a blogger and a news editor based in Abu Dhabi, capital of United Arab Emirates. We had a chat on WhatsApp, and I began by asking him how work has been for him so far, given that he is in a tourist hub environment, and one of the aftermath of the ongoing health crisis is the effect it has on many economies.
Thank you, Gladys, for having me on the program. Of course, the global crisis is affecting every economy in the world, with the United Arab Emirates being one of the most hit, I must say, given that this is a most visited destination by so many people from across several continents coming for their vacations. And so the economy of the United Arab Emirates it survives, I must say, a lot more on the amount of visitors that come. And you can imagine the fact that airports are shut down, hotels are closed, people have lost their jobs. It's a really bad situation, I must say. We had a few days ago, the economies have reopened, but things are still very slow, really, really slow, I must say. And personally, from my side, for about 33 days now, I've been indoors, not allowed to go out, I'm not allowed to work, I'm not allowed to have visitors, I'm not allowed to stay outside more than 30 minutes because we have frequent routine checks, like they come to your accommodation and check if you're at home. If you're not there, they ring your phone, find out where you are. And also about twice a day we have physicians that come check your temperature. Is it the right temperature? If it's not, if you're having some symptoms which could suggest that you have the virus, then they could immediately take emergency measures to take you to the hospital. So that's what's been happening so far. I'm still hoping to know when I'm going to resume work. But for now, I am just indoors and watching and hoping, of course, like everyone is doing across the world.
I just want to know, how did you survive the 33 days? It must have been hell for you.
Exactly, Gladys. Those words really describe. It's really been difficult. You can imagine staying indoors around the clock. But luckily, the UAE government kept the supermarkets open, the grocery shops were open, the pharmacies. So in case you want to pick up something from the supermarket, maybe you want to cook for yourself, or you want to get some toiletries or anything, you could still do that. But you still need to always stay indoors, and as I mentioned earlier, with the routine checks, you are not allowed to have visitors. You can't travel even to the next. Like, I am based in Abu Dhabi, Gladys, which is the capital of the Arab Emirates. I cannot travel to Dubai, which is 2 hours drive. It's not allowed, because if I do that, upon return, the company has the right, like the government which implements this, has the right to put me on a quarantine for 14 days, because they will not be sure the persons I met in Dubai, who did I speak to, what did I do there. So you need to stay indoors, respecting the rules and social distancing. Even the person on the same flat on your building is not allowed to visit you. All of these needs to be respected. So it's really been difficult. My friends and family, I get to speak to them only over the phone. I cannot go anywhere, I cannot do anything, just cooking, eating, and watching the news, and getting myself updated and making sure I respect the measures, and of course praying and hoping that things get better very soon.
I'm sure you'll be coming out of this lockdown a master chef, but that's what we just have to do with in order to stop the spread of the virus. You know, the Middle East is a challenging one with more persons in one room. Has social distancing actually been visible in your area?
Yes, that's a really, really important question. You know, it's a big issue here, especially those who come here as tourists and then get to pick up a job, and they want to get a cheaper and more affordable accommodation. They end up staying in this, we call them bed space, where the beds, people live closer to each other. But from what I've gathered, it's really been different. Like most companies here are the ones housing their staff, and the accommodation is quite decent, like mine. Myself, I live alone in my room. It's quite spacious. I have my private bathroom, I have my kitchen, and so getting to meet with some other person of the flat, it's quite different. We're talking about people of that sort. It's persons that come into this country and are still struggling to get a job, and when they end up getting one, it's different because the company gets them a decent place to stay. But for those who have come and have been here and are still living in such places, I should imagine that the government is doing something about that. I really cannot confirm, but respecting social distancing, it's being implemented in all the sectors of the Arab Emirates, I must tell you.
Somehow you are a focal point today for Cameroonians in Abu Dhabi, Marious. What are their fears, or are they people who desperately want to return back home? Any idea of how the atmosphere at the embassy is following the government's decision to help bring back stranded Cameroonians to the country?
Of course, many people are already thinking of what they could do tomorrow, because we've had memorandums from some companies, Gladys, telling their staff, some of whom are Cameroonians, that they will be on unpaid leaves, which means you're just staying at home, you have no salary or anything, and that applies until August 31. So you can imagine the frustrations of some people, some Cameroonians in the Emirates, and you get people having the second thoughts: should I get home? Maybe I could get something better home before flying back when things get better. It's also on the mind of people. But still, even if they need to do that, is it going to be open in the Emirates? Like, will the airports be open for people to fly home? The consulates, how would they be able to welcome people, Cameroonians here, who will want that request granted? That's the question, because I give you an example with the consulate here that came up, I think, last year, which Cameroonians in the Arab Emirates were so grateful to the government for that. But so far, Gladys, I must assure you, this consulate has not been friendly at all. We have people, we have Cameroonians who've had their passports expired, and I have people who have passports pending as far as 9 months, which they paid for renewal. They still not had it till today. We have birth certificates of Cameroonians who were born here who are still not ready. So it's a big question, it's a big challenge. Like, you get to balance, if people cannot get their renewed passports which are expired, how do they fly home even if they had the chance? And even if they were to get to this consulate today and saying that they want to get back home, how will that be done? That's a big question as well, which Cameroonians are asking. So in the same way, as a voice for all of them, we're asking the government to look into the situation. If passports of people can be checked, we need to find out what's happening to see that people's passports renewal doesn't take a very long process, and of course listen to them if at all they want to fly home. We will be expecting that the consulate here should maybe speak to the Cameroonians that are here. Earlier this year, we had the consulate asking Cameroonians to go register so they could have the exact number of Cameroonians who are in the Arab Emirates. And so if it's done, completed already, they should know, and they should be able to contact these persons, find out if they want to travel back home, those who want to do that, and discuss that with the...
Well, I'm very sure the right authorities are watching us right now, Marious, and they will be bringing up positive answers to all of your worries. We are not also sure of when this pandemic is going to be over. What's your take on the fact that some countries are easing their lockdowns? Presently, you have like we see in in China, the US, some European countries, and even in Africa, we don't yet have immunity because we don't have treatment or a vaccination. And it is for sure that we'll keep having COVID-19 cases. Do you think easing lockdown is the best right now?
Yeah, easing lockdowns, it's very important. You know, economies cannot survive continuously like this. We know that we have people who've had lockdowns for over a month, from China to the US and other states in Africa. It's not easy. People have no jobs, or even those who, so in some industries, like in hotels, like where people cannot work from home. In other industries, you can work from home and still get paid. What about those who cannot work from home? The governments are thinking about those people. The transport sector, people are not traveling anymore. How do these people survive? How do their families get something at the end of the month? I think the government is thinking about all of these things when taking decisions. And people don't go to church anymore. What about people in the rural areas who cannot have access to the internet, maybe to follow services online? All of this is in question. And it's a good thing that most of the states are trying to get their economies open again, but still insisting that the measures, precautionary measures, be applicable, like wearing of masks, washing of hands, using of sanitizers, and respecting social distancing. In the United Arab Emirates, I mentioned earlier to you, Gladys, a few days ago, the economy was reopened. Like you have the metro stations, the trams, the buses, it's allowed, but limited number of persons. Restaurants, bars can reopen, but with at least 30% occupancy only. If you fail to respect these measures, there are sanctions, which we've had some already. Some restaurants have been closed here in the Emirates, and some have been fined heavier sums of money to pay. I just heard also from Cameroon how the president has also revised the sanction, revised the measures whereby bars and restaurants can open from 6 p.m. That's a step, because people survive on these things. People depend on these businesses in order to earn a living. And so at the end of the day, it's a good thing, but still, it's for you and I, the Cameroonian or any person from across the world, to say, the government is doing this because they want me to survive. And so what do I do to help the state? I need to take care of my own self first. That's, I need to wash my hands always or frequently. I need to wear my face mask at work, while in public, or when facing people. Avoid being in a group of persons, and making sure that my gloves are.
Well, that's true, Marious. If we respect the WHO's measures, we are all going to combat this virus. Thanks for sharing with us today, and please stay safe and do have a great day.
The pleasure is mine, Gladys. Thank you so much for having me on the program, and I wish you stay safe as well. And we only pray and hope that there should be a solution to this faster, maybe a vaccine. We're hearing that something will be coming up in September or early before that. We just keep praying and hoping. Thank you so much.
Well, that was Marious Ajongakou, a freelance journalist and a blogger and news editor, a Cameroonian who is based in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, sharing with us his COVID-19 experiences. Let's take a short break and we'll be back.